This is an explanatory film to explain to students how they can achieve a level 6 in the Why Did the Spanish Armada Fail essay that they'll undertake at Plymstock School. Additionally, this could also be used to analyse and help students peer mark or self-assess their own work. As we go through this presentation, it would be helpful to remind people that you can look back at models for how students could have constructed previous essays at levels 4 and 5. This will give an idea of progression and also provide students with the chance to reflect on their previous work to see where their strengths and weaknesses lie. So as we start this assessment, let's firstly look at the introduction. Now, the aim with introductions is to keep them short and concise, and to remember that an introduction should serve as a plan. In this essay, it says clearly here, I will be writing about why the Spanish Armada failed. Although it sounds ridiculous, the student understands the task that's been asked of them. And it goes on to here to say, I will give reasons, in the plural, for why it happened. No event in history happening for one single reason. Additionally here, they also say they will rank the reasons, demonstrating that they understand that if there are several reasons involved, it shows a greater understanding if they can express their own opinion as to the most important reasons and explain why that is the case. Okay, moving on to the first paragraph. Since Year 7, students are taught to apply the PEA model, the point, evidence and analysis model, to each paragraph that they write in a historical essay. However, at level 6, students should now be considering the PEA-R model, where the R stands for the reliability of the source. Now, that needs to be used where appropriate, but it needs to be used in a level 6 essay at some point in the way through it. Okay, so firstly, I believe the most important reason for the Armada failing was the poor planning of the Spanish. The student has the connective, the comma, I believe the most important reason. So there is the expression of their intent to explain why this is the most important. This is followed up by evidence. Not singular pieces of evidence, but several pieces. The lack of cannonballs, too many priests and not enough soldiers. Additionally, the Spanish had also failed to provide their ships with enough fresh food and water. Where there is more than one piece of evidence, it's obvious to higher achieving students you need to provide more than the one example. Followed here by our analysis. This explains why the Armada failed, because it has to be remembered that the analysis should clearly answer the question that is set. I would always have students work around the assumption that they are writing an essay to be read by someone who is intelligent but maybe not informed on that particular subject. When one reads the analysis in a paragraph, one should be able to identify what the question is that the students are answering. Because is one of those key words that has to be followed by analytical comments. I think this is the most important. Remember in the introduction, I will rank the reasons and explain my reasons. I think this is the most important reason because planning is one of the things you must get right, and the other failures of the Armada can be traced back to it. Again, the word because appearing twice. So we have an introduction there and a first paragraph that clearly has achieved at least a level 5. Point, numerous pieces of evidence, and a significant, half the paragraph is dedicated to explaining why the evidence answers the question. The second most important reason was the lack of leadership shown by the Spanish. Again, an example here of a significant amount of evidence provided, including quotes lifted directly from the sources. Now, students since Year 7 have been encouraged to use quotes. Keep them short, keep them to the point. In blue down here, we have the analysis. PEA. Thirdly, the Spanish showed bad leadership, the English were better led. So interesting here, the student is turning the question around. It's not just why the Spanish failed, it's why the English succeeded. Evidence. And again, quotes. Now this one here isn't from the material that we give the students, but showing their own research. Someone's done their own research to identify that quote. Now followed up here is our first example of reliability. It is hard to know how important these speeches were and whether one speech could make a difference when most English people would not have heard it, but it is remembered. It's a key observation, but it's one that demonstrates that the student is interrogating the reliability and the significance of the source. Now, in that one paragraph alone, they have now pitched their case for why they should be a level 6, followed by more evidence and more analysis. This all gave the English a real advantage over the Spanish in the battles and links back to the lack of planning shown by the Spanish. This is a student very much in charge of the analysis and also very clearly having planned an essay, because this paragraph, the third one, clearly goes back to the first paragraph that they wrote when they said that they would explain what the most important reason was, said that it all linked back to planning, and deliver on that. Fourthly, the Spanish failed because of their weapons. Short point made, followed up by evidence, followed up again by more analysis. Again, it makes up half the paragraph. Organising your information is shown by your ability to identify the point of the paragraph followed by the evidence. So you're showing an ability to organise knowledge, but it's in the analysis that you show you understand the knowledge and can deploy it to answer a question. If you were to read this paragraph here, it's easy to identify what the task is that's been asked in the essay title. Finally, the Armada was defeated by the weather, a short point, followed by analysis, quotes, and again, more than one piece of analysis. This evidence is now analysed. And finally, again, the reliability of this evidence is challenged here as well. So we have an essay with PEA in all of the paragraphs and reliability tackled twice. In then, our conclusion. The student identifies the reasons again which was the most important. They bring their own knowledge in, a phrase that we often use in school, and lay the blame on the Spanish king, demonstrating their opinion that it was the lack of planning that caused the Armada to fail. The student has taken the knowledge, organised the knowledge under 5 different headings. Ranked them in 2 of the paragraphs. They have provided reliability on top of the P, the E and the A to reach a conclusion where they express their opinion. A level 6 has been achieved.